Welcome to the American State Bank Sports Complex. Let me show you around. So right now we're in the spacious head house of the complex. On my left here we have the concession stand, and then on my right here we have a seating area, whether that's for students, spectators, or fans to come and enjoy before and in between games. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Welcome to the Dome. In the Dome, we have the space available for 2 full-size softball fields. However, this space is also utilized by the football, baseball, and soccer teams, as well as for other various athletic events. So the Dome has impacted the softball team in a variety of ways. First, we used to practice during the winter months over in the rec center, but the limited space availability never really allowed us to hit our full potential, whereas in here, we can fit 2 full-size softball fields. We're also able to start games much earlier in the season. We have a range of equipment available here at the Dome, whether it's the batting cages, the soccer goals, or even a field goal available for the football team. It's a huge opportunity to have the space available to practice in the off-season, especially for our outdoor athletic teams. Another great thing about the American State Bank Sports Complex is that it's not just for Dordt athletes, it's for the entire community. Whether that's high school soccer leagues, open turf time, or even a space for intramurals. The American State Bank Sports Complex will change not only how we practice as Dordt athletes, but also how we interact with the community as a whole. Thanks for letting me take you on a little tour. Hope you stop by soon.
Good evening and welcome to the DeWitt Gymnasium on the campus of Dordt University in Sioux Center, Iowa, as we get set for Great Plains Athletic Conference basketball. The Great Plains Athletic Conference postseason tournament quarterfinal round action, and the Dordt Defenders are hosting a doubleheader here this evening. The Dordt Defender women will start the night off facing Doane University in a quarterfinal round contest, matching up number 1 versus number 8. And then closing out the evening, it'll be number 3 Dordt, the number 3 seed Defenders, taking on a number 6 seed in Dakota Wesleyan. And you can hear both of those games here on the Dordt Media Network and watch them on the Dordt Media Network as well. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Pfeiffer. I'll be describing the action to you as it unfolds in front of us here at the DeWitt. The Dordt Defender women come into today's contest 26-2. They won their most recent outing, a victory over the Jamestown Jimmies on Saturday. They had clinched the top spot in the conference previously, and they held on to the number 1 spot. Were able to rest a couple of starters who had been dealing with some physical ailments. But Carly Gustafson and Bailey Beckman, it appears they are in the lineup for tonight's contest. So that's the first question many will have. And it appears that both of those will be playing here tonight. For the Doane Tigers, an up and down year, 14-14, 8-14 in the conference. Started the year with wins over Park, Peru State, Mount Marty, and Hastings. Lost to Northwestern, Morningside, Dakota Wesleyan, and Jamestown. Beat the College of St. Mary, Viterbo, and Manhattan Christian. Then lost to Concordia, beat Bellevue, Mayville State, and Midland on successive evenings. Lost to Briarcliff 80-57, and then beat the Dordt Defenders back in early January 71-66. Then lost 3 in a row to Morningside, Jamestown, and Dakota Wesleyan. Defeated the College of St. Mary and Midland, and since that win over the Midland Warriors, have lost 5 out of 6, with their lone win in that stretch being a win over the Mount Marty Lancers, 74-57. Lost to Hastings, Northwestern, Concordia, Dordt, and Briarcliff, losing to Briarcliff on Saturday to close the season. The Dordt defenders come into tonight's contest averaging right at 80 points per game, just a shade under, actually at 79 points per contest. They allow 61 points per game. Their field goal percentage is 48. They're allowing 39% success by opponents. The defenders have defended the three-point shot pretty well, allowing teams to make 27%, and their three-point field goal percentage on offense is 39%. They get 38 rebounds per game. They allow 32. They turn it over 13 times a game, and they force 16 turnovers per contest. The defenders are led by Carly Gustafson and Bailey Beckman at slightly under 17 points per game apiece. Gustafson is also averaging 6.9 rebounds per game and makes 61% of her shots. Bailey Beckman has converted 61 three-point baskets this season and is converting just under 40% from the three-point line. Jeannie Schoenhoven also averages double figures at 11.8 points per game with 7.9 rebounds. Macy Sievers is at 7.8 points per game with 5.2 rebounds. Hayden Hymanson is at 7 points per game. Faith Van Hollen 6.2. McKenna Klecker 5.3. And Macy Nielsen is at 3.9 points per game. For the Doane Tigers, they average 77 points per game. They allow 75. They convert 44% from the floor. They allow opponents to make 43%. They're converting 32% of their three-point shots. Opponents make 36% against them, and they are out-rebounding teams slightly, 37-36. They turn it over 17 times a game. They force 17 turnovers a game. For the Doane Tigers, as Mac Hatcliffe goes, so go the Tigers. 21.6 points per game, 6.9 rebounds, 51.6% field goal shooting. Macy Holtz is at 13.8 points per game. She also averages 2.6 assists per game. Megan Chambers is at 9.7 points per game. Libby Trosh is at Trosh, that is at 8.6, and Riley Rice is at 8.2 points per contest. Let's take a look at the leaders. We've taken a look at the leaders. Most recently, Mac Hatcliffe went over 1,300 career points in the last week. She has 1,331. She has played 58 games for the Tigers so far and has made 51.4% of her field goals. She has scored 361 of her career points at the free throw line. Ryan Baumgartner is on the bench for Doane. He's in his fourth season coaching for the Tigers, has a 33-71 record, and he has guided the Tigers to a 14-14 mark this year. That's their best since a 16-16 mark back in 2016-17. Carly Gustafson for the defenders is over 1,400 points per game. Bailey Beckman is at 1,371, so she is within striking distance of 1,400. Jeannie Schoenhoven has cleared over 400 career rebounds, also has over 500 career points. And Macy Nielsen sits 11th all-time and made three-point baskets with 94. Hayden Hymanson is at 18th all-time. Bill Harmson is on the bench for the defenders. He is in his fifth season for the defenders. 72.5 winning percentage is the best in program history. Has 114 career wins, trailing Len Rhoda's 258. Briarcliff beat the Tigers on Saturday afternoon 96-76 after getting out to a 24-9 first quarter lead. After that, the game was more or less even. Briarcliff outscored Doane 72-67 in the final three quarters. Hatcliffe was 11 of 15 from the free throw line at 23 points. Trosh added 20 on 7 of 12 field goals shooting. The defenders lead this series 11-1 since 2017-18. Beat Doane 99-65 back on February 11th. That's the most recent meeting of the two teams, and that was the last home game for the defenders. Carly Gustafson at 18 points for Dordt. Dordt turned away Jamestown Saturday afternoon, 82-78. Overcame an early double-digit deficit to outscore the hosts 22-12 in the third quarter. Here's your starting lineup for the Dordt defenders. They will start number 5, Hayden Hymanson, a 5'8" sophomore from Rock Rapids, averaging 7 points per game. Bailey Beckman is a 5'5" senior from Panora, Iowa, averaging 16.7 points per game. Number 30 is Carly Gustafson, a 5'11" senior from Ethan, South Dakota, averaging 16.6 points per contest. Faith Van Hollen is a 5'8" junior from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, averaging 6.2 points per game. And Jeannie Schoenhoven wears number 35. She's a 5'10" sophomore from Hospers, averaging 11.8 points per game. For the Doane Tigers, they will start number 3, Macy Holtz, a 5'7" sophomore from Plainview, Nebraska, averaging 13.8 points per game. Libby Trosh is a 5'7" junior from Juniata, Nebraska. Hope I got that right. 8.6 points per game. Mac Hatcliffe wears number 23. She's a 5'7" sophomore from Beatrice, Nebraska, averaging 21.6 points per game. Number 25 is Megan Chambers, a 6-foot freshman from Omaha, Nebraska, averaging 9.7 points per game. And rounding out the starting unit for the Doane Tigers, a 5'9" freshman from Chapman, Nebraska, Riley Rice, averaging 8.2 points per game. There's your starting lineups, and there's your pregame for tonight's contest on the Dordt Media Network. Let's take a 2-minute break and be back with the opening tip right after this.
Today's broadcast is sponsored by Northside Body Shop. When you expect the very best in the repair of your vehicle, call Northside Body Shop Limited today. Serving the Sioux Center area since 1955. 712-722-2313.
We understand how complex the financial landscape can be to navigate. Our goal is to free up your hands so that you can focus on what is most important in life.
This Dordt Media Network student-produced live stream broadcast is brought to you by Joyner & Zwart Dentistry in Orange City, offering dentures, implants, and dental care for your whole family in a modern and friendly atmosphere.
And brought to you by Pizza Ranch, buffet, carry-out, or delivery.
Welcome back to the DeWitt Gym. Glad to have you along with me for quarterfinal round basketball as the postseason begins. Now for the Dordt Defender women, they have already locked up a berth in the NAI National Championship field, the field of 64. While the Dordt men, I think it feels likely they'll make it as they finish the year number 3 in the conference, but time will tell, and obviously would love to earn their way in, get hot up to that point, maybe roll into the tournament. Other games going on in the field today in GPAC basketball. Number 5 Northwestern is at number 4 Dakota Wesleyan. That winner and this winner will meet up Saturday in the semifinal round. Number 6 Concordia is at number 3 Jamestown. Number 7 Morningside is at number 2 Briar Cliff. Men's basketball tonight, we told you already, Dordt and Dakota Wesleyan playing this evening, number 6 versus number 3. And number 7, Briar Cliff, travels cross town to face the Morningside Mustangs, the number 2 seed in the men's field. Hastings and Jamestown, they're going to play it tomorrow night. Hastings did make it up to Jamestown late this afternoon, I understand, so they will get that game in. And who, depending on the weather, it might just be the teams and officials in the gym. Same could be true for Concordia and Northwestern tomorrow evening. Obviously, you hope that this storm that we've been tracking, basically a 2-day event, misses us, but pretty big footprint with the Great Plains Athletic Conference. The likelihood is someone is going to have to deal with it. Concordia and Northwestern men are playing tomorrow evening. Opening tap is controlled, and here come the Doane Tigers with the basketball. Tigers have it, feed it right side. With it is Riley Rice. Rice throws it down into the post. Chambers gives it up. Hatcliffe, shot blocked, and the rebound taken away by Gustafson. Gustafson feeds it over to Hymanson. Hymanson with the basketball in between the circles out front. She goes right side for Beckman. Beckman with the basketball. Back it goes to Gustafson, and Gustafson tripped up on the play. Ends up out of bounds as she slides across the floor, and it will be Doane basketball. So Doane gets the basketball back. Doane in their black jerseys, white numbers, orange trim. Dordt in their whites with yellow numbers and black trim. Pass out front to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe feeds it off right side over to Holtz. Holtz, they dump it down low into the post. Chambers. Kick out pass, 3 on the way is up and down for the Doane Tigers. 3-point basket for Troche, and the Dordt defenders trail 3-0. Hymanson goes right side. Gustafson shows it, gets around her player, lays it up off the glass. Good. Carly Gustafson able to get to the rim, kisses it off the glass, and the Dordt defenders have their first points. It's 3-2. 3-2 our score. Macy Holtz out front. It goes to Rice. Rice gives it up to Hatcliffe, guarded by Van Holland. Now over to Troche. Troche to Holtz. Holtz on the elbow. Throw it down low. Nothing there, and we have a travel. We have a foul called against the Dordt defenders first before the travel call. They're going to call that foul on Janie Schoenhoven. That's foul number 1 on Janie. So foul number 1 on Schoenhoven. And the Tigers will throw the ball in. Macy Holtz to trigger it. Holtz looking. Throws over the top. Finds Riley Rice. Rice goes right side back over to Troche. Troche in traffic. Off the glass. No good. And the rebound is tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Dordt. It will be Doane basketball with 13 seconds on the shot clock. Doane is inbounding. Macy Holtz to throw it in. Holtz looking. Holtz still looking. And that throws it away. Bailey Backman did not touch it. Mac Hatcliffe did not go for it in front of the Dordt student section. And now Faith Van Holland will throw the ball in. Van Holland gets the ball inbounded. Goes over to Hymanson. Hymanson with it on the left-hand side. Hymanson sizes it up, goes to Gustafson, feeds it underneath Schoenhoven. A little late on the pass, and the Tigers take it away with a turnover. Tigers bring the basketball up the floor. This is Holtz. Holtz with the ball. Holtz driving in, left side it goes. Comes back over to Rice. Rice with it, and Rice turns it over. So Dordt gets it back on the turnover. It's Dordt basketball trailing 3-2. 8:02 remaining here in the first quarter, just underway from the DeWitt Gym. Hymanson will take it across half court. Hymanson goes high post. Gustafson. Gustafson with it on the right elbow. Gustafson looking down low, still looking now, and gets called for a double dribble. Well, both teams not sharp early. Gustafson travels with it, and the Doane Tigers get it back. Riley Rice will bring it up the floor. Rice passes left side to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe against Van Holland. And she puts it up off the glass. Good. Mac Hatcliffe able to get to the right side of the hoop and lays it off the glass. It's 5-2. 5-2 our score out front. Gustafson. Gustafson with the basketball. Goes left side Van Holland. Van Holland with it. Stops, pops. Elbow jumper good. Left elbow jumper for Faith Van Holland, and the Dordt defenders trail 5-4. 5-4 our score. Holtz. Holtz out front to Rice. Rice. They throw it down low into the post. Chambers. Chambers throws it away. It'll be Dordt basketball on the turnover. So Dordt will get it on the turnover. Our officials tonight, Joe Oswald, Brian Rump, and Nicole Wagner. So Mac Hatcliffe moments ago with her first field goal of the day, and the Dordt defenders will throw it in. Straight across from the Doane bench. They get the ball inbounded to Macy Sievers. Sievers with it at the free throw line. Her pass deflected, and it goes out of bounds. Last touched by Dordt. It'll be Doane basketball. Well, the defenders bitten by the turnover bug here early on, hopefully getting them all out of their system. They've got 4 turnovers already. Doane Tigers with 3, so they've had equal challenges getting into the offensive flow. With the right side, they give it up to Troche. Troche on the run. Goes back to Chambers. Chambers to Rice. Rice, Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe on the left wing. Hatcliffe with the basketball. Works it in against Van Holland. Comes back to Troche. Troche, left side, Holtz. And Holtz travels with it. 6:34 left to go, first quarter. Slow start. Neither team sharp at the moment. A little bit quicker turnaround than we anticipated, but with that storm bearing down on the Midwest, certainly appeared that pushing games back wasn't an option this time, so proactively moved it ahead 24 hours. Schoenhoven back outside Beckman. Beckman pull up off the front iron, no good. Rebound tipped and controlled by Doane. Doane in the backcourt, and they throw it up the floor to Holtz. Holtz will bring it up now. Dordt back on defense. The defenders pass. It goes to Rice on the offensive end for Doane. Throw it down into the post. And a foul called on Janie Schoenhoven. So Schoenhoven whistled for her second personal. And now Dordt's going to have to navigate foul issues with Janie picking up her second. Carly Gustafson checks into the game. McKenna Klecker and Macy Nielsen also checking in. Van Holland and Sievers stay on the floor. So Doane with the basketball. Left side it goes to Holtz. Holtz on the wing. Holtz gives it up into the corner. Troche. Back out front, Hatcliffe. Long three on the way. In and out, no good. Rebound corralled by Gustafson. Gustafson with it ahead to Sievers. Sievers up the floor. Sievers on the right elbow underneath Nielsen. Nielsen with the basketball. Back out front, it goes to Klecker. Klecker right side, Sievers. Sievers into the corner. Nielsen, 18 to shoot. Gustafson reverses Klecker. Klecker open three, splash. McKenna Klecker, nice. She's been playing good basketball the last couple of weeks. 7-5 our score. Had a career high 16 against this Doane team 10 days ago. Left side it goes underneath. Chambers feeds it right side. Goes over to Portwine. Hatcliffe now trapped. Fires it back out to the wing. Three, missed, no good. Rebound cleared by Van Holland. Van Holland with the basketball. Van Holland over to Sievers. Sievers into the corner. Klecker, another one. That one's no good, but there for the rebound and the putback, Faith Van Holland. Van Holland goes in unhindered. And the Dordt defender lead is 9-5. 9-5 our score. Doane basketball. Holtz across half court. Holtz with it in between the circles out front. Defenders on a 5-0 run right now. A three and a couple of twos. Left side it goes. Defenders. Down free throw line on the free throw line jumper for Macy Holtz. Holtz brings it back to 9-7. 9-7 defenders up two. Bringing the basketball up the floor will be Sievers. Macy across the timeline, the freshman from Storm Lake, Iowa. She goes to Gustafson. Gustafson with the basketballs. Nielsen at the free throw line. Stops, pops, 15-footer, good. Macy Nielsen with a 2-point bucket, and the defenders lead 11-7. Nielsen doesn't take a lot of twos, but that time buries one from the free throw line off the drive. Left side it goes Troche. Troche gives it up to Holtz. Holtz to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe with it. Hatcliffe puts it on the floor. Van Holland trying to wall her up. Shot off the glass by Hatcliffe is good. Mac Hatcliffe with the 2-point bucket. Dordt leads 11-9. Sievers with it. Sievers to the trailer. Gustafson. Gustafson spins. Gustafson double teamed, and we've got a reach-in foul called on the Tigers. Foul's going to go on Mac Hatcliffe. That's number 1 on Hatcliffe. 11-9 defenders. Throwing the ball in left side of the lane as we face the hoop will be the defenders, and this will be Macy Sievers. Sievers to trigger it. Sievers looking. Gets it into Caparis. 3:27 left to go in the first quarter. Caparis' pass is deflected out, intended for Macy Nielsen. Goes out of bounds. It'll be Dordt basketball. Nielsen to throw it in. Nielsen gets the ball inbounded again to Sievers. Sievers with it. Declines the screen. Now takes it. Underneath it goes Sievers, and Sievers has Caparis has it stripped away. Here comes Doane. Doane basketball up the floor quickly. This is Hall. Hall underneath. Shot no good. Rebound Caparis. Outlets to Hymanson. Dordt on the run. Hymanson into the front court. Doane retreating hastily. On the right side, Hymanson tries to, they try to feed it to Caparis off the give from Sievers. Another turnover by the defenders and a pull-up jumper by Macy Holtz, and we're tied at 4-4. 11-11, 4 points for Holtz. So the Dordt defenders, long pass into the front court, and the defenders with 7 turnovers in this one. 7 turnovers in a little over 7 minutes. That's not a good equation. Not a good ratio. And the Doane Tigers will bring it up. Macy Holtz on the left-hand side. Holtz with the basketball. Doane looking to regain the lead. 2.5 left to go in the first quarter. Holtz out front. Hymanson guarding her. Puts it up in traffic. Shot is good by Macy Holtz off of the glass. And Holtz off of the drive gives Doane a 13-11 lead. Macy Holtz with 6 points so far. 2 meetings between these two teams, averages 10.5 points per game. And she makes the 3-point play, does Holtz. Holtz with 9. 14-11, Doane in front. Tigers on defense. Hymanson, right side, Beckman into the corner, Klecker. Klecker comes back over to Beckman. Beckman at the free throw line, hesitates, throws it into the corner, Nielsen. Nielsen 3, good. Macy Nielsen with a 3-pointer. She had 3 against Jamestown. She ties it with a 3-point bucket. 2 minutes left to go, under 2 minutes left to go now. 1:50 and counting, actually. Bringing it up is Holtz. Holtz has it, goes to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe looking down low for Chambers. Hatcliffe puts it up. Her shot no good, but a foul on the play. Foul's going to go against the defenders and McKenna Klecker. Hatcliffe gets to the free throw line a lot. Right at 9 times per game, not quite 9 times per game, upper 8s. And Hatcliffe will go to the free throw line. Free throw, first one is off the mark, no good. She is a pretty good free throw shooter typically. 83%, 196 for 237 this season, trying to unlock the 14-14 tie. Free throw is up, free throw is good for Hatcliffe, so Hatcliffe now with 5. And the Doane Tigers lead 15-14. They'll take Hatcliffe off the floor for the time being. Nope, she stays on the floor. Had the sub check in during the free throws. Gustafson back over to Beckman. Beckman 3, too strong, no good. And the rebound is controlled by Doane. Doane with the basketball. Tigers have it. Staples. Staples goes left-hand side down to the baseline. The drive by Portwine cut off. Gives it back outside to Knoll. Knoll with the basketball. Double team. Puts it on the floor. It's taken away by Gustafson. Ahead it goes Hymanson. 1:10 remaining in the period. Hymanson crosses over. Dordt down 1. Left side it goes Beckman. Beckman with it. Beckman looking down low. Bailey with it. Bailey gets around her player. Passes it off to Hymanson. In and out, no good. And the rebound is controlled by Doane, and Doane will walk it up the floor. This is Staples. Staples left-hand side. Rice underneath Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe layup good. Mac Hatcliffe with 7 points, and the defenders trail 17-14. 41 seconds remaining in the first period. Well, the basketball is Hymanson, stripped, picks it up, passes it back over to Beckman. Beckman with the basketball. Beckman with it, 14 to shoot. Beckman puts up the pull-up jumper and knocks it down. Bailey Beckman with the 2. Now the Dordt defenders trying to close out the quarter with a stop. 20 seconds left as Doane takes it across half court. Callie Staples with it in between the circles. Staples sizing things up. Staples, 8 seconds, now 6. Pass goes left side to Knoll. Knoll into the lane, lost it. It's stripped by Beckman on the way up, and that's the end of the first quarter. Our score, Doane 17, Dordt 16. Let's take a 1-minute break, and we'll be back with more from the DeWitt in 1 minute.
American State Bank is celebrating our 50th anniversary, and we couldn't have made it this far without your support. For us, banking just scratches the surface. We pride ourselves in our commitment to our communities, building meaningful relationships with our customers, and doing our best to have some fun along the way. We're proud to be a locally owned and operated bank, supporting the communities we serve. Thank you for choosing American State Bank. We can't wait to see what the next 50 years have in store.
Welcome back to the DeWitt Gym, where the Dordt defenders trail the Doane Tigers by a score of 17-16. Second quarter set to begin shortly. The defenders through one quarter of play, shooting it well, just too many turnovers, and that results in limited field goal attempts. 11 field goal attempts. Dordt 7 of 11 from the floor, 2 for 5 on threes. Doane 7 of 12 from the floor, 1 of 3 on three-pointers. Doane has gotten to the free throw line 3 times and have made 2. Dordt has yet to get to the charity stripe. Dordt with the basketball as we open up the second period of play. With the basketball is Sievers. Sievers on the right-hand side, uses it up, passes over to Van Hollen. Van Hollen with it into the corner, Sievers. Reversal, left side, Beckman. Beckman, pull-up jumper, too strong, no good. And the rebound is cleared by the Doane Tigers. Doane with the basketball, coming up the floor is Staples. Staples passes it off right side. Dordt trailing by a point. Doane running the weave out front. Now they pass it into the corner. Hatcliffe starts this period on the bench. Doane, Staples. Staples underneath Chambers. And Chambers is going to be called for an offensive foul. Megan Chambers called for the personal foul. That's foul number 1 on her. Team foul number 1 on the Tigers in this period. And Carly Gustafson will inbound the basketball. Hatcliffe will check in after that defensive possession. Olivia Knoll will check out of the ball game. Dordt with the basketball. Sievers bringing it up. 9:20 and counting, first half. Sievers on the right-hand side. Sievers lobs it into Gustafson at the free throw line. Gustafson spins. Nothing there. McKenna Klecker. Klecker to Gustafson, and Gustafson is held on the play by Holtz. Foul number 1 on Holtz. Team foul number 2 on the Tigers in this period. Dordt will inbound the basketball. Faith Van Hollen to throw it in. Well, the scouting report's that much better as you get to the third meeting of teams now. Gustafson spins, throws it back over to Van Hollen. Sievers with the basketball. Sievers into the corner. Klecker. Klecker, rainbow 3. Good. McKenna Klecker with 6, and the Dordt defenders regain the lead 19-17. 19-17 our score. Macy Holtz brings it across the timeline. Holtz in between the circles. She passes left side Rice. Rice guarded by Van Hollen, and Van Hollen is whistled for a personal foul. That's foul number 1 on Van Hollen. Team foul number 1 on the defenders in this period. So 8:40 left to go in the half. Dordt leads 19-17. Macy Holtz throwing the ball in for the Tigers. Gets the return pass now. Doane a little more deliberate on offense. A little more ball movement. They pass it to Trosch. Trosch throws it to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe out front. Left side, Holtz. Holtz. Back it goes. Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe. 3 to shoot, now 2. And the shot clock expires. And it'll be Dordt basketball. So a shot clock violation, and the Dordt defenders have it with a chance to build on a 2-point lead. The defenders led by 4 at one point in the first quarter at 11-7. Now lead by 2, have the basketball. Sievers directing traffic. She's the traffic cop, throws it to Hymanson at the free throw line. 3 players around her. Sievers trying to give it back to Gustafson and lost it. Picked off, and coming away with it is Doane. Chambers comes back right side. 3 on the way, missed, no good. Rebound and a putback for Trausch. Trausch with the 2. It's tied 19-19. Sievers, left side it goes Hymanson. Hymanson back to Sievers. Sievers at the top of the key, now angling off to the left. Into the corner, Van Hollen. 3, no good. This one's rebounded by Doane, and the Tigers packing it in that zone. 1 and done for the defenders. Holtz at the free throw line. Holtz gives it off to Rice. Rice back to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe steps back. Thought about the 3, passes over to Holtz instead. 15 to shoot, 7:18 on the game clock. That's left to play in the first half. Throw it into the corner. 3 on the way. No good. Rebound controlled by Gustafson. Feeds it off to Sievers. Here come the defenders. Sievers to Van Hollen. Van Hollen driving in. Her shot. No good, and they call her for a charging foul. So Faith Van Hollen has picked up her second personal. Foul number 2 called on Faith Van Holland. Gustafson will check out of the game. Van Holland will stay on the floor. Schoenhoven checks back in. And inbounding will be Macy Holtz. Holtz left side of the lane as we face the hoop down on the Dordt end. So Doane length of the floor in front of them. And Macy Holtz passes left side to Riley Rice. Rice with the basketball. Trosch. They feed it down low. Chambers pass taken away by Van Holland on the help defense. Van Holland over to Hymanson. Hymanson with the basketball. Back to Faith. Faith into the lane. Faith back over to Hymanson. Shot on the way. Good for Macy Sievers. Sievers with the 3. Macy Sievers with the 3, and the Dordt defender lead is 22-19. 22-19 our score. Dordt by 3, 6:20 and counting first half. Spin at the top of the key is Holtz. Holtz back outside, it comes to Rice. Rice with the basketball back to Holtz. Holtz into the lane. Holtz cut off by Sievers, lost it, picked off by Hymanson. She does not have the numbers. Hymanson at the left side, picks up her dribble, goes back over to Sievers, fakes left, goes right, gives it up to Schoenhoven. She's fouled on the way up. Riley Rice commits the personal foul. Janie Schoenhoven will go to the free throw line to shoot 2. Well, the defenders have made 3 threes, but, 4 threes, but that has not been enough to draw Doane out yet on defense. Shot on the way for Schoenhoven. Free throw is good. Schoenhoven, 71% free throw shooter. Trying to get Carly Gustafson some rest on the bench. Second free throw is up and good for Schoenhoven. She's got a couple to make. Send the defenders lead 24-19. 24-19 our score. Holtz with the basketball. Holtz gives it up to Trosch. Back out front. Hatcliffe thought about the 3, splits the defense, drives in and gets the shot to go. She's got 9, and the defenders lead 24-21 as Hatcliffe finishes with the right hand from the left side. Hatcliffe now with 9. Sievers free throw line jumper, good. Macy Sievers with her second field goal. She's got 5, answering the Hatcliffe basket with one of her own. Dordt leading by 5. Get a couple stops if you're Dordt. Libby Trosch with it. Trosch gives it to Rice. Rice with the basketball. Rice to Holtz. Chambers in the lane. Her shot good. And Janie Schoenhoven forced to play a little bit more tentatively on defense with her 2 personals. And Chambers takes advantage. Now bringing it back the other way is Holtz. Holtz guarded by Sievers after Dordt turns it over. Doane with the basketball. Throw it left side, Holtz for the tie. No. Rebound out of bounds. Last touch by Dordt. It'll be Doane basketball. Gustafson, Beckman, and Klecker check in. Sievers and Nielsen stay on the floor. Schoenhoven, Van Holland, and Hymanson all check out with Dordt leading by 3. Dangerous time to have a defensive change. Let's see if everybody picks someone up. Pass goes out front to Trosch to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe lost it. Trapped. Gets it away. Chambers throws it out front for Holtz. Holtz, 3 on the way. Good. Macy Holtz with another 3. She's got 10. And we're tied 26 all. Back the other way, Macy Nielsen with a 2. Macy Nielsen with 7, and the Dordt lead is 28-26. Doane bringing the basketball back up the floor. Staples on the right-hand side. Gives it up to Trosch. Trosch travels with it. I beg your pardon, that's Staples who traveled with it. Didn't get it on the deck quickly enough. Moments ago, Macy Holtz knocking down that 3. Now Dordt with the basketball and a chance to build on the 2-point advantage. Sievers with the basketball. Macy has it on the right-hand side to the free throw line. Gets it back over to Nielsen. 3 ball on the way. Off the mark, no good, too strong. Rebound taken away by Doane. Doane with the basketball. Hatcliffe against Klecker. Spins back to the middle of the lane. Puts it up with the right hand, good. Mac Hatcliffe with another 2. And we're tied again at 28. 28-28 our score. Sievers, right side to Klecker. Klecker gets a ball screen, driving. Throws it left side to Nielsen. Nielsen in the corner, 15 to shoot for the defenders. Back to Nielsen. Nielsen 3, that one's good. Macy Nielsen, she's got 10, and the Dordt lead is 31-28. Well, Nielsen found her shot in Jamestown and took it back home with her. She's got 10 points and a steal on the other end by Gustafson. Gustafson feeds it off to Sievers. Sievers in transition. Sievers kick out. Macy, 3 on the way. Off the mark, no good. There for the rebound, though, and the putback is Carly Gustafson. Gustafson with the 2 on the putback of the missed shot. Dordt getting transition basket. And the Dordt defenders lead at 33-28. We have a timeout on the floor charged to Doane. This timeout brought to you by Casey's Bakery. Find your favorite bakery products at caseysbakery.com. Back with more in 30 seconds.
Today's Dordt Media Network live stream broadcast is produced by the students of Dordt University.
And today's broadcast sponsored by Ployne Publishing. Quality printing from design to delivery.
A reminder that Wireless World brings you the pregame and postgame shows. They're your local Verizon authorized retailer with 7 locations in Northwest Iowa. Visit them at wirelessworld.com. 33-28, the defenders leading by 5. Doane with the basketball using their first timeout. And the Doane Tigers will bring the ball up the floor. 2:55 left to play, first half. Staples on the backdoor cut, and we have an offensive foul called on Mac Hatcliffe as Macy Nielsen stepped up to take the charge. And Mac Hatcliffe is saddled with foul number 2, so now the Doane Tigers with some foul issues of their own. Coach Ryan Baumgartner wanting a flop call, and if I'm in his shoes, I'm probably asking the same thing. 2:40 left to go. Nielsen over the basketball. Nielsen goes right-hand side to Sievers. Sievers looking for Caparis. Goes airborne, gets it off to Nielsen. Nielsen deep left corner. Comes back out to Beckman. Beckman over the basketball. Beckman, 15-footer, in and out, no good. And the rebound is controlled by Doane. Doane coming back the other way over the basketball. Staples. Staples passes it right side. Doane, left side it goes to Hatcliffe on the wing, three-point line. Goes back out to Portwine. Portwine guarded there by Nielsen. Nielsen not given any ground. Shot no good. Rebound taken away by Caparis. Caparis with the basketball. Gives it off to Sievers. Sievers in between the circles. Sievers now step back 2. No good. Rebound Klecker. Klecker back to Nielsen. 3-ball on the way. Left wing. Cash! Macy Nielsen, her third 3. Her second game in a row with 3 threes. Shooters shoot until they find their shot, and she has got it going now. Nielsen knocks down her third triple of the game. Dordt leading by 8. Comes back outside with the basketball. Staples. Staples feeds it down low. Chambers. Chambers, hook shot in the lane, good. Megan Chambers with 4 points, and the Dordt lead is 36-30. Up the floor, Beckman. Beckman steps on the end line out of bounds. It'll be Doane basketball. Well, the Doane Tigers able to escort Beckman out of bounds. So no foul call that time. Beckman steps on the end line, gets whistled for the turnover, and the Doane Tigers come back the other way. Dordt with on defense. Staples goes to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe for the basketball. Hatcliffe puts it on the deck, spins into the lane, puts it up, shot no good, and she's going to go to the free throw line. She draws some fouls, but she also gets the benefit of the doubt a fair amount. Foul called on the defenders and Macy Nielsen. That's number 1 on her. Let's see if Dordt can set up on that spin move and maybe take a charge again. Hatcliffe, first free throw is good. This will be her 241st free throw shot this season. Trying to cut it down. 1:11 left to play in the half, and Doane now on a 4-0 run, cutting what was an 8-point lead in half at 36-32. Sievers right side, Hymanson. Hymanson too strong with the three-pointer. Rebound cleared by Doane. Doane up and running. Doane, they give it off, and Hatcliffe draws a foul. Nielsen trying to set up to take the charge again, and Hatcliffe will go to the free throw line for more free throws. She's made 199 free throws this season. First one is up and good. That's foul number 2 on Nielsen. Another free throw on the way. And Hatcliffe makes both of them. And Mac Hatcliffe, 4 free throws in a row. And the Dordt defenders, after an 8-point lead, Doane has roared back with a 6-0 run. And now the defenders will walk it up the floor. Sievers with the basketball up the right-hand side. Dordt looking for a basket here in the final minute. Sievers in traffic, comes back to Klecker. Klecker, Gustafson against Chambers. Shot no good, but she is fouled on the play. And who's it going to go against? That's going to go against number 10, Callie Staples. Staples whistled for foul number 1. And 2 free throws on the way for Carly Gustafson. Trying to stop this 6-0 run for the Tigers. First one off the heel, no good. Another free throw on the way for Gustafson. This one's up, and that one is good. So Gustafson makes 1 of 2. Dordt leads by 3, 37-34. Doane has 25 seconds on the shot clock, about a 7-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. They go to Chambers. Chambers, kick out pass. 3 on the way, miss, no good. Rebound Hymanson, and Dordt can hold for the final shot if they want. Hymanson will walk it up the floor. She'll hand it off to Macy Sievers. 16 seconds now. Sievers with it. Dordt leading 37-34. Sievers directing traffic, 8 to shoot. Gives it to Klecker, spins, back to Gustafson, 3 to shoot. Gustafson in traffic, puts it up, shot no good, and no foul on the play. And we played 1 half of basketball. Dordt 37, Doane 34. Let's take a 2-minute break, and we'll be back with a wrap-up of the first half right after this 2-minute timeout.
At Premier Communications, we're all about connection. Connecting you to all the entertainment, work, and family you love with our phone, internet, cable TV, and tech support services. And now, that connection has gotten even faster with internet speeds up to 1 gig. Experience the next level of connection with Premier Communications. Visit us online at mypremieronline.com or call toll-free 800-741-8351. Premier Communications. Looking ahead.
Family, farm, business, community. People's Bank, where values matter.
Today's Dordt Media Network live stream broadcast is produced by the students of Dordt University and sponsored by Sioux Center Health Therapy, partnering with Dordt University to provide quality care to all athletes. Sioux Center Health Therapy. And today's live stream broadcast brought to you by Verhoof Automotive. Verhoof Automotive in Sioux Center is your local Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chevrolet, and Buick dealer. Verhoof Automotive, worth the drive from anywhere.
We're at the DeWitt Gym where the Dordt defenders have a 3-point lead at the end of the first half, 37-34. Defenders struggling with turnovers early on in this one, but they have managed to take the lead 37-34, led by 8 at one point, but couldn't hang on to the lead, as couldn't maintain that 8-point lead. And the Dordt defenders building that lead. I'm looking back. It was at 36-28. It was after a timeout by the Tigers with 3:04 left to go in the half. The Doane Tigers said, called the timeout. Dordt came out, scored a bucket, 36-28. But then Doane scored 6 in a row, 4 of them on free throws by Mac Hatcliffe. Dordt got a free throw from Carly Gustafson to close the scoring. And that's how we arrive at this 37-34 difference. Let's take a look at the highlights on the Dordt Media Network. And we begin with a 3-point bucket by Libby Trosch. Trosch with 5 points so far. Dordt got it going, and Dordt made some threes of their own, actually 6 of 13 from the arc, including a 3. A couple of them by McKenna Klecker. There you see her second one from the right corner. That was early in the second quarter of play. Doane managing to stay in it, though. Macy Holtz and Mac Hatcliffe doing the bulk of the damage for the Tigers. Tigers, boy, they've got a lot of defenders in the paint on almost every possession, and that has resulted in Macy Nielsen getting free for 3 3-pointers this evening as well. She unofficially has 13 points. Let's take a 2-minute break, and we'll be back with a rundown of the official numbers at halftime right after this 2-minute timeout.
Hello, Dordt University sports fans. Hope you're enjoying the game, whether you're a family or friend of a player or coach or a fan of the university. Now, these players and coaches have put in hours and hours of practice, and it shows. But there's one more thing that every coach makes sure the team has: a game plan. And if these players and coaches are willing to put this much effort into a game, how much more important is a game plan for your financial life? Now, the financial world continually becomes more complicated, and we keep ourselves plenty busy. And even if we have precious free time, most of us don't want to spend it wrangling over financial decisions, reading financial journals, or studying the latest tax legislation. But if you don't have either the time or the desire to spend hours upon hours learning and keeping up with the changing rules of the game in the financial world, and then figuring out how that applies specifically to your financial life, you don't have to do it alone. For over 40 years, Money Concepts, the planning firm here in Sioux Center, has been helping households to build their financial game plan upon all the things in life more important than finances. Because there's things in life more important than money, and none of them are things. I'm Tom DeYoung, financial planner and president of Money Concepts, the planning firm. Check us out on the web or social media, or schedule an intro meeting to see how a financial game plan might benefit you. We'll help you build your finances on all the things in life more important than finances, while being a good steward of the resources God has entrusted to your care. And check out our Money Concepts Radio podcast at moneyconceptsradio.com or on your favorite podcast app, where we dive into the relevant financial planning topics to bring clarity to the often confusing, ever-changing rules of the game in the financial world. Enjoy the rest of the game, and remember to spend your most valuable resources, your time and your attention, on the things in life that matter more than money. And go Defenders!
Here are your numbers from the first half as the Dordt Defenders hold a 37-34 lead. Doane 13 of 23 from the floor, 57%. 2 of 8 from the three-point line, 25%. 6 for 7 from the free throw line, 86% for the Dordt Defenders. 37 points on 14 of 25 shooting for 56%. 6 of 13 from the three-point arc, 46%. 3 for 4 from the free throw line, 75%. Doane has out-rebounded Dordt 11 to 10 thus far. Turnovers, Dordt with 11. and the Doane Tigers with 13. Doane is led by Mac Hatcliffe with 15 points. Macy Holtz has 10. Those two combined 9 of 12 from the floor and 1 for 3 on threes. Troche has 5 points and Chambers has 4 for their total of 34. So 29 of the 34 points for the Doane Tigers coming from the likely suspects of Holtz and Hatcliffe. For the Dordt defenders thus far, they are led by Macy Nielsen's 13 points, 3 of 5 from the three-point line, 5 of 7 from the floor total. 5 points for Carly Gustafson, 5 points for Macy Sievers, 2 for Bailey Backman, 2 for Janie Schoenhoven, and 6 for McKenna Klecker, as the defenders hold a 37-34 halftime lead. Rebounding, Gustafson has 4 to lead the defenders. Van Holland has 2. Caparis has 2. Macy Sievers and McKenna Klecker each with 2 assists and 2 steals for Carly Gustafson. For the Doane Tigers, Hatcliffe, Rice, and Staples all have 2 rebounds, and Macy Holtz has 3 steals. 37-34 our score. Let's take a 2-minute break and we'll be back with a rundown of what's happening in the conference. We've got some halftime scores to fill you in on right after this 2-minute timeout.
Today's Dordt Media Network live stream broadcast is produced by the students of Dordt University.
And brought to you by Pizza Ranch, buffet, carry out, or delivery.
And brought to you by Furniture Mart. Find furniture, mattresses, flooring, paint, window treatments at your local Furniture Mart, family owned and located downtown Sioux Center.
Here we live between big city and small town, but we don't do anything halfway. We play in a community that's safe for families while providing our kids big city opportunities. We work in a place proud of its rural history that's already writing its future in science and technology. This is a place where we love our neighbors and where a small town is more like a big family. Sioux Center, live life in the middle of everything.
This Dordt Media Network student-produced live stream broadcast is brought to you by Joyner & Zwart Dentistry in Orange City, offering dentures, implants, and dental care for your whole family in a modern and friendly atmosphere.
And sponsored by Sioux Center Health Therapy, partnering with Dordt University to provide quality care to all athletes. Sioux Center Health Therapy.
The Dordt defenders a 37-34 lead here at halftime. Dakota Wesleyan leads Northwestern 31-27. And Concordia leads Jamestown 40-26 at the half. Morningside and Briar Cliff are set to begin at 7 o'clock in their women's contest. Men's basketball tonight, Dakota Wesleyan versus Dordt, and Briar Cliff versus Morningside this evening. 37-34, Dordt with a 3-point lead. Doane has made their way out of the locker room. Haven't seen the defenders yet. Got a couple minutes till the second half begins. Let's take one more 2-minute break and we'll be back for the second half of our women's contest right after this 2-minute timeout. Defenders with a 3-point lead coming up this weekend. Remains to be seen what we have this weekend. Potentially basketball. Need a couple of wins tonight to keep that rolling, or need a win by either the men or women to have a basketball broadcast this weekend. Also, coming up this weekend, more softball at the ASB Sports Complex. I believe we've got, 15 games on the schedule, maybe 14. I think it's 15 scheduled for Friday and Saturday. We'll see if all the teams are able to make their way to Sioux Center for that Friday noon start time. And the Dordt track and field teams, they have the weekend off. They'll be in the national championship next weekend. And the Dordt men's volleyball team is on the road to Kansas for a couple of games this weekend on Friday and Saturday. 37-34, it'll be Doane basketball to start the second half, with the Dordt defenders holding a 3-point advantage at 37-34. Again, Dordt led in the first half by Macy Nielsen's 13 points, while the Doane Tigers, Mac Hatcliffe and Macy Holtz with 15 and 10 points respectively. Dordt, foul issues, Van Holland, Schoonhoven, and Nielsen all with 2. Mac Hatcliffe also has 2 for the Doane Tigers. So it remains to be seen how that plays out as well, but there are foul issues on both sides. It'll be Doane basketball to start the second half. Libby Troche to throw it in, and Troche gets it into Holtz. Doane led much of the first quarter. Dordt led much of the second quarter. Now we get started with the third. Hatcliffe with the basketball, working it in, trying to go against Schoonhoven. Dordt on the switch on the weave, and the left side 3 by Riley Rice is good. And we're tied 37-all. Defensive breakdown by the defenders that time, and Rice got wide open for a 3. Hymanson goes high post. Gustafson feeds it underneath. Schoonhoven squares up. Schoonhoven back to Van Hollen. Van Hollen back to Schoonhoven. Schoonhoven off balance. Her jumper hangs on the rim and falls through. Janie Schoonhoven with the 2. She's got 4, and the Dordt lead is 39-37. Macy Holtz brings it up the floor. Holtz has it to Rice. Rice gives it up left side. Rice now back to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe guarded by Hymanson. Goes over to Troche. Troche to Chambers. Chambers back to Troche. Troche, Chambers. Chambers against Gustafson. Ball's tipped away now by Backman on the pass intended underneath. And throwing the ball in will be Macy Holtz. Get it inbounded to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe's 3 no good, and we've got a foul on the rebound. Called against Janie Schoonhoven. Schoonhoven whistled for her 3rd. Macy Holtz will throw it in. And Chambers gets the ball back over to Rice. Rice, pass into the corner, 3 from the corner, off the mark, no good. Rebound deflected and picked up. Doane with it, comes back out front. Holtz, 2 for the tie, in and out, no good. Rebound cleared by Hymanson. Hymanson with the basketball. Dordt up by 2 with the ball. Hymanson has it, so Schoonhoven playing with 3. Hymanson gives it up to Gustafson. Gustafson driving in, and we have a blocking foul called. Chambers whistled for the personal, her 2nd. And Carly Gustafson will go to the free throw line to shoot 2. So Dordt with an opportunity to extend the 2-point lead. That foul called against Schoonhoven came as the shot clock was expiring and on an air ball where she boxed a player out. Both free throws good for Gustafson. She's got 7. Defenders lead 41-37. Let's see if the defenders get woken up here. 8 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Riley Rice driving in against Schoenhoven, gives it off to Chambers. Chambers picks up her dribble, back to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe lost it, picked up by Van Holland. Van Holland with the basketball, Faith with it, looking for the trailer, finds Hymanson, spots up, three, good! Hayden Hymanson with the three-point bucket, and the Dordt defender lead is 44-37. Doane with it up the floor, and the Doane Tigers will use a timeout with 7:40 remaining in the third quarter. Dordt leading 44-37. Doane uses their second timeout. Let's take a 1-minute break. You're listening to Dordt Basketball on the Dordt Media Network. After timeouts have been very effective in stopping the Dordt runs. Pass goes right side Schoenhoven, reverses to Sievers. Sievers rocks into it, gives it back over to Schoenhoven, 10-footer up and down. Janie Schoenhoven with a two-pointer. She's got 6 in the defenders lead, 46-39. 46-39, defenders back up by 7. They've led by as many as 8 today. Trosch driving in off of the glass, too strong, no good. Chambers with it inside, and Chambers is fouled on the putback attempt. And that foul is going to go on Sievers. And Macy Sievers whistled for the personal, her second, nope, just her first. 2 new players checking in for the defenders. Beckman and Van Holland will check out. Nielsen and Klecker are in, along with Schoenhoven, Sievers, and Hymanson. Chambers shooting free throws. First one is good. Megan Chambers with 5. She's got another one coming. Cuts it back to a 6-point difference, 46-40. Second free throw by Chambers is up and good as well. 46-41, Chambers with 6 points. And Macy Sievers coming back the other way with the basketball. Sievers with it in between the circles, goes left side to Schoenhoven, comes to Klecker to Hymanson, Nielsen, intended for Hymanson. Driving in is Hatcliffe, and Hatcliffe with a steal and basket. And the lead is back to 3, 46-43. Sievers, left side Nielsen. Nielsen with the basketball. Nielsen pull-up jumper, missed it, no good. Rebound tipped out of bounds, last touch by Doane. It'll be Dordt basketball. And we've got a player shaken up for Doane. Macy Holtz shaken up on the play and not putting a lot of weight on that right leg. She will check out of the ball game. And not sure what happened to her, but she either went knee on knee with someone, or it's like the classic case of stepping on somebody's ankle. We'll see. She returns. She leaves with 6:15 left to go in the third period. Dordt with the basketball, Hymanson. Hymanson out front, Klecker. Klecker with it. Left side to Sievers. 8 to shoot for the defenders. 6. Sievers, 3, good. Macy Sievers with the 3. She's got 8, and the defender lead is 6 again, 49-43. Doane basketball, Staples. Staples gives it up to Rice. Rice taken away by Sievers. She's got numbers. Sievers ahead to Hymanson. Hymanson with the right hand lays it up, good. Hayden Hymanson with 5. Dordt leads 51-43, matching their biggest lead of the game. Doane with the basketball. They go right side Staples. Staples to Trosch. Trosch driving with the left hand. Off balance shot. Throws it up at the rim. No good. Rebound Sievers. Sievers with the basketball, looking for Nielsen. Instead finds Schoenhoven. Schoenhoven off of the glass, good. Janie Schoenhoven with 8. The Dordt lead is 10, 53-43. So the defenders with a 10-point lead. Macy Holtz on the bench currently. She left with an injury. And since then, Doane has struggled on offense, losing their point guard. This timeout brought to you by Casey's Bakery. Find your favorite bakery products at caseysbakery.com. We'll be back with more in 30 seconds. .5:17 left to go in the third period. Dordt on a 7-0 run since Macy Holtz left. Looks like they're working on her ankle on the bench. Might get it taped up and she'll try to return. With it out front, Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe guarded by Klecker. They throw it left side to Staples. Staples with the basketball. Staples feeds it out front, comes back. Hatcliffe, three, missed it, no good. Rebound taken away by Gustafson out to Sievers. Here comes Dordt in transition. Macy with the basketball, feeds the trailer. Gustafson, Nielsen out front. Sievers back to Beckman, and Beckman can't hang on to it. Ball trickles through her fingers and out of bounds. It'll be Doane basketball. So Doane gets it back on the turnover. So Doane will get it back on the turnover. 53-43 our score. Callie Staples comes back to Troche underneath, and it's tipped and taken back by Gustafson. Gustafson gives it up. Sievers into the front court. Macy, head full of steam, right corner three. Klecker missed it, no good. Rebound cleared by Chambers. Chambers gives it up to Rice. Rice up the floor. Rice to Staples. Staples, Hatcliffe guarded by Klecker. Klecker sandwiching her in, comes back. Three on the way, missed, no good, one and done. And here come the defenders. Coming away with the basketball, Macy Sievers. Sievers with it out front, 3:55 left to play, third quarter. Dordt by 10, trying to extend the lead. Throw it into the corner, Nielsen. Nielsen with the basketball. Gustafson squares up, shows it, gets around Chambers. Tries to pass it away and throws it off the bottom of the backboard. And here comes Doane. Doane with the basketball. Troche feeds it left side. Staples gives it up. Rice, three, good. Well, Dordt missed some opportunities to get up by more than 10, and now Doane cuts the lead to 7, 53-46. And the Dordt defenders want a timeout. Timeout on the floor, charged to the defenders with 3:25 left to play in the third period. This timeout brought to you by Casey's Bakery. Find your favorite bakery products at caseysbakery.com. Back with more in 30 seconds. Throwing the ball in for the defenders will be McKenna Klecker, and the Dordt defenders leading 53-46, 3:22 and counting, third quarter. Into the left corner goes Beckman. Beckman to Klecker. Beckman with it on the wing. Doesn't want to shoot the three. Pass through the lane. Goes out of bounds, intended for Sievers. The defenders' uncharacteristic turnovers tonight. It usually isn't an issue for them, but tonight it has been. They've got 15 of them. Doane with a chance to cut into the 7-point lead. That was 10. Doane with the basketball. Rice puts it up with the left hand, and she banks it home. Rice with 8 all in the second half. Dordt leads 53-48, so a 10-point lead by the defenders cut in half. Comes back to Sievers. Sievers with the basketball. Macy into the corner. Klecker. Klecker three. That one's going to be short. No good. Rebound cleared by Schoenhoven. Back over to Beckman. Her three no good. And the rebound is cleared to Olivia Knoll. Knoll with it for the Tigers. Knoll with the basketball. Brings it all the way up the floor. Cut off there by Caparis. Ball deflected, comes up with it though is Staples. Staples, left side Knoll. Knoll looking for Chambers. She's guarded by Schoenhoven. Now they'll try to clear it out for Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe guarded by Sievers. Hatcliffe at the elbow. She comes back left side. Knoll, three, in and out, no good. A rebound cleared by the defenders. Coming up with the Deceivers ahead to Caparis. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Doane. It'll be Dordt basketball. Dordt basketball. So Nielsen is back in along with Hymanson and Van Holland. Caparis and Sievers stay on the floor. Caparis gives it back outside Sievers. 2 minutes remaining in the quarter. Dordt by 5 with a basketball. They've led by as many as 10. Doane on a 5-0 run right now though. Van Holland too strong with a three, no good. Rebound controlled by Doane. Doane with the basketball. Tigers have it on the right-hand side. This is Rice. Rice picking up her dribble. Pass into the lane, taken away on the weak side by Caparis. Caparis up the floor to Nielsen. Nielsen with the basketball, Van Holland. Van Holland, left side, Hymanson on the wing. Hymanson back out to the top of the key. Hayden with the basketball, 19 to shoot for the defenders. Sievers. Sievers on the left wing. Boy, Dordt's in a dogfight here. Nielsen three, in and out, no good, but there for the rebound, and the putback is Caparis. Eliana Caparis with her first two tonight. Dordt leads 55-48, stopping the 5-0 run. Doane the other way, shot no good. Rebound tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Chambers for Doane. It'll be Dordt basketball. So we have not seen. Well, we have Macy Holtz back in the game for Doane. She comes back in, looks like she's favoring that right ankle. See how effective she is able to be. Watch them tape it up on the bench. Sievers looking down low, instead throws cross court. Van Holland in the corner. Van Holland back to Hymanson. Dordt by 7. Hymanson splits the defense, lays it up with the left hand, no good. There for the rebound and the putback, Carly Gustafson. Gustafson with 9, and the Dordt defender lead is 9, 57-48. Doane basketball, bringing it up is Holtz. Holtz with it right side, Troche. Troche guarded there by Hymanson. They give it off to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe spins into the lane. Hatcliffe throws it up off the glass, no good. Rebound Van Holland, here comes Dordt. Dordt with the basketball. Sievers up the floor. Sievers has it on the right-hand side. Throws it, Nielsen. Nielsen sets, fires three. Bang, bang, bang. Macy Nielsen with a career-high 16 points, and the Dordt lead is 60-48. Doane coming back the other way. Shot off the Holtz, no good. Rebound cleared by the defenders and Van Holland. Van Holland gets it ahead, and the Dordt defenders close the quarter with a 12-point lead, 60-48. 12-point advantage for the defenders, 60-48. And we go to the fourth quarter. Right after this, you're watching the Dordt Media Network. Back with more in a minute. The Dordt defenders with a 60-48 lead in the basketball as we resume play, and Macy Holtz not out on the floor for the start of the fourth quarter, I don't believe. Looking at the bench, and she's back on the bench. So she gave it a go. We'll see if she tries to return again. Dordt with a 12-point lead, their biggest lead of the ball game. Right side it goes to Hymanson. Hymanson, Schoenhoven reverses to Van Hollen. Van Hollen with the basketball. Gustafson. Gustafson with it. Nothing there. Schoenhoven, right side, Beckman. Beckman with it in between the circles. Bailey with it. Drives in. Flips it up. No good. Rebound cleared by Doane. Doane with the basketball. The Tigers bringing the ball up the floor. Troche. Troche to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe with 15 in the first half. 2 here in the second half. They give it back to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe lost it. And now we're going to have a conversation with the two officials, and it's going to be a travel violation. Joe Oswald and Brian Rump getting together to talk about it, and the Doane bench isn't going to agree, but I thought they probably, and they got that one right, the way it looked to me. Now, my good friend Rick Schmecker down at Doane will say, of course you did. Assuming Rick might be watching. With the basketball is Bailey Beckman. Beckman with it left side. Gustafson, 3, short, no good. And with 9 minutes left to go in the game, Dordt still with a 12-point lead, but Doane with a chance to cut into it. Riley Rice on the right-hand side. She's got 8 second-half points. Comes back over to Staples. Staples with it. Staples gives it up to Mac Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe loses it, and we've got a reach-in foul called on the defenders, and that's going to be on Janie Schoenhoven. That's number 4 on Janie. Well, Dordt's going to have to still work through these foul issues that sprouted up in the first quarter already when Schoenhoven and Van Holland, I believe, both took 2 fouls. And since then, Van Holland hasn't been whistled for another one, but Schoenhoven's picked up 4. One of them was a cheapie. That was on a rebound of a air ball. Shot no good. A rebound corralled by Gustafson. Here comes Sievers. Sievers with the basketball. Macy's up the floor. Macy picks up her dribble, throws it Beckman. Beckman triple, too strong, no good. Rebound tipped, and we've got a foul on the rebound called on the defenders. And that's foul number 1 on Carly. Team foul number 2 on the defenders in this quarter. So far in the game, Dordt's been whistled for 11 fouls, Doane for 7. With it left-hand side, Doane has shot 9 free throws. The defenders have gotten to the charity stripe 6 times. Both have missed 1. And a reach-in foul called on Bailey Beckman. That's number 1 on her. Dordt's going to, well, the players have been showing composure, but everyone a little edgy. Staples will go to the free throw line to shoot. She's a 71% free throw shooter. Trying to give Doane their first points of the fourth quarter, and she does. Another free throw on the way. 60-49, Dordt by 11. Second free throw is up and good. 60-50, Dordt leading Doane. Dordt with the basketball. Out front with it is Sievers. Sievers goes to Van Hollen. Van Hollen with the basketball back to Sievers. Dordt by 10. Led by as many as 12. Van Hollen into the lane. Back over to Beckman. Beckman with it. Beckman splitting the defense. No. Comes back left side. Hymanson. Hymanson triple. Good. Hayden Hymanson with 8 second half points. And the defender lead is a baker's dozen. 63-50. Doane basketball, Staples. Staples gives it up left-hand side. This is Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe with it. Hatcliffe step back, decides against it. Comes back out front to Staples. Staples feeds it down low, intended for Chambers. Comes back out front to Staples. Staples down, gives it back over to Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe spins. Hatcliffe in traffic, gets the shot to go, and she's fouled. Hatcliffe with an opportunity at a three-point play now. That foul was charged on Faith Van Hollen, and Hatcliffe will shoot another free throw. She's been there 6 times already. This will be her 7th one. Schoenhoven checks in with 4 personal fouls. Doane trying to cut this down to a 10-point lead, and Hatcliffe does. Just can't shake them, just like gum on your shoes. 63-53. The Doane Tigers battling and staying right there. With the basketball is Sievers. Tried for a ball screen, couldn't get free. Goes high post now, Schoenhoven. Schoenhoven back outside, Nielsen. 3-ball, yes. Macy Nielsen with 19 points, and the defender lead is 66-53. Well, after the struggles that Nielsen was having shooting earlier this season, so good to see her break out of her slump on Saturday against Jamestown, and tonight a career-high 19 for Macy. Left side it goes Hymanson. Hymanson with the basketball. Gives it up in the left wing. This is Sievers with it. The defenders as a team convert 44% of their three-point shots. Pass goes to Schoenhoven, up off the rim, no good, and the rebound is controlled by Doane. Doane with the basketball, Dordt up by a baker's dozen. With it on the right-hand side, Staples. Staples into the corner. Troche with it, and Troche lost it, picks it back up. She feeds it off to Chambers. Chambers with it on the wing. Chambers working against Klecker. Beg your pardon, that was Chambers working for the pick and roll, and they kick it out to Troche. Troche with 8. The Dordt lead is 10 again, 66-56. 5:55 and counting, ball game. Dordt by 10, unable to shake this pesky Doane team. Nielsen to Sievers. Sievers step back, nothing there. Goes inside Schoenhoven. Schoenhoven 10-footer, no good. Rebound controlled by Doane. Doane with the basketball. Up the floor with it is Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe is going to be called for a charge. An offensive foul called on Mac Hatcliffe. That's her third. I believe that was McKenna Klecker who set up to take that charge. Ryan Baumgartner does not agree. Into the front court, Dordt basketball. Bill Harmson has had his share of calls tonight. He hasn't agreed with either. This is Gustafson. Gustafson with it. Gustafson back over to Klecker. Klecker driving in, scoops it up with the right hand, got fouled on the play. She'll go to the free throw line, and she will shoot 2 free throws. So free throws on the way for Klecker. First one for McKenna is up and good. She's got 7 points, had 2 threes in the first half. 67-56 pending a free throw. Free throw is up, free throw is good, and Klecker makes them both. 68-56, Dordt by a dozen. Doane basketball, Hatcliffe with it. Hatcliffe on the left-hand side. Hatcliffe beyond the three-point line, works it in against Klecker. Throws it left wing to Staples. Staples, right-hand side, Portwine. Portwine back outside Rice. Rice driving in, puts it up in traffic, shot no good. And the rebound is controlled by Dordt. Sievers up and running with it. Sievers, left side Van Hollen. Van Hollen 3, yep. 3-point basket for Faith Van Hollen. She's got 7. And the defender lead is 71-56. The defenders tonight, 46% from the three-point line. Doane with the basketball. I said Dordt was 44% for the year. I beg your pardon, they're 39%. Stolen by Sievers. Sievers on the run out. Sievers driving in, puts it up with the right hand. Can't get it to go, but she is fouled. Macy will go to the free throw line to shoot 2 free throws. So the Dordt defenders with a 15-point lead, 71-56. Janie Schoenhoven checking into the ball game. Checking out will be Carly Gustafson. Macy Sievers, the freshman from Newell Fonda High School, 8 points so far. And her free throw is up and through. 9 points now for Sievers. Sievers with 24 on Saturday against Jamestown. Coming back with a more typical for her 10-point performance, and the defenders now open up a 17-point lead, and things have gotten awfully challenging for Doane after they lost Macy Holtz. Doane with the basketball. They go to Hatcliffe out front, guarded there by Sievers. Hatcliffe thought about the three, instead passes right side to Portwine. Portwine gives it up to Staples. Staples to Chambers. Chambers shot no good. Rebound Van Holland. Here comes Dordt. Into the front court is Sievers. Sievers with it right side. Goes back over to Klecker. Klecker with it. Klecker on the wing. Klecker comes back to Sievers. Sievers with the basketball. Sievers throws it back. Nielsen, three ball, no good. And the rebound is controlled by Doane, but the Dordt defenders retreat on defense, and now the clock's starting to work against the Doane Tigers. Three on the other end, no good. Rebound controlled by Portwine. Portwine shovels it back outside. Three from the corner, missed, no good. Rebound Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe shot no good. Rebound Van Holland, and the Dordt defenders will walk it up the floor. Bringing the basketball up the floor is Sievers. Sievers with it. And Macy now on the left side, drives in, tries for the pick and roll. Thought Schoenhoven would be there. Schoenhoven, though, a defender stepped in, a defensive player stepped in. And now a charging foul called on the other end. That's going to go against Hatcliffe. That is foul number 4 on Hatcliffe. Rice is in, Chambers is out. And the Dordt defenders with a 17-point lead on the basketball with under 3 to go and sitting in pretty good shape to advance to Saturday in the semifinals of the GPAC tournament. Hymanson goes to Schoenhoven. Schoenhoven against Rice into the corner. Klecker. Klecker spins it back out for Van Holland. Van Holland to Schoenhoven on the elbow. Janey puts it up. Strong move. Shot good. Janey Schoenhoven with 10, and the Dordt lead is 75-56, and that just might do it. 19-point lead for the defenders. Riley Rice drives in. Rice loses her footing. Comes back out. Staples. Staples kick out into the corner. 3. Missed it. Too strong. No good. Rebound controlled by Doane. Doane with the basketball. Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe shot no good, but she's fouled on the play. So the Dordt defenders, barring something completely catastrophic here in the final 2:13, looks like they're going to advance on and play Saturday against an opponent to be determined. It'll either be Northwestern or Dakota Wesleyan. Close game at halftime. Haven't checked the score since. Both free throws up and through for Hatcliffe. Hatcliffe now with 9 free throws. She's 8 of 9. Dordt with the basketball. Comes back to Nielsen. Nielsen left side, it goes to Klecker. Klecker with the basketball. Under 2 to go. Dordt by 17, 75-58. Bounce pass into the post. Schoenhoven comes to Van Holland. Faith with it. Faith looking down low for Schoenhoven. Ball deflected. Coming away with it is Doane. Doane with the basketball. Well, Dordt was going to have to be sharper on Saturday. Riley Rice gets the shot to go, and she is fouled on the play. Rice with 10 points. 75-60. Beckman, Sievers, and Gustafson are all going to check into the game. Van Holland, Nielsen, and Hymanson checking out. And the only free throw is up and through for Rice. Rice with all of her points in the second half. She's got 11, and the Dordt lead is 75-61, 133 and counting. Sievers with the basketball, looking down low for Schoenhoven. Instead comes out front Beckman. Beckman 3, good. Bailey Beckman, her first 3 of the day. Dordt leads 78-61. 1:18 remaining in the contest. Well, Dordt's up 17. Shot no good. Rebound Schoenhoven. Schoenhoven gives it up Sievers. Sievers up the floor. Beckman. Beckman thought about another 3. Instead pulls it out and sets it up. So Dordt with the basketball. 1 minute remaining. Under a minute now. Left side it goes Gustafson. Gustafson with it out front. Gives it off left wing. Throw it underneath Gustafson from Sievers. Gustafson weaves her way in. Her shot is good. Gustafson with 11. Dordt leading 80-61, and it's basically academic at this point. Shot on the way by Doane, a 3 for Riley Rice. Rice with her third 3. And the Dordt lead is 80-64, and that's likely how this one will end. Dordt will take it across half court and dribble out the clock. Sievers with it. Doane will come out and match up with her defensively. This is Portwine. So Doane's going to end their year at 14-15, while the defenders will advance on in tournament play with a 27-2 record. Their opponent Saturday, likely Dakota Wesleyan. Wesleyan with a 9-point lead right now, 61-52 with 2:52 left to go in the game. So the Dordt defenders win it by a final of 80-64. Dordt advances on in tournament play, while the Doane Tigers season comes to a close here on February 21. Let's take a 2-minute break and be back with a recap of things right after this 2-minute timeout.
Today's Dordt Media Network live stream broadcast is produced by the students of Dordt University.
Here at Dordt University, we have tremendous support from the local community and from Defender Nation across the country. The Defender Gold Club is a byproduct of that support and enables our student athletes to perform at the highest level.
As a Defender Gold Club member, you are helping our athletes pursue championships while also helping them grow physically, mentally, spiritually, and academically.
The Defender Gold Club supports the university's mission by equipping student athletes to strive for excellence in all areas of life while having a transforming experience in athletics.
Join us in supporting the growth of our student athletes through joining the Gold Club and making a gift that supports scholarships, team trips, or facility enhancements.
We invite Defender Nation to support our athletes and become a Defender Gold Club member.
Partner with us in supporting all sports or sport of your choice. Your support makes a difference. Join the Defender Gold Club today.
People like you help us believe in a bold future for Dordt University athletics. Thank you, and go Defenders.
Go Defenders!
We are at halftime of the doubleheader. We are in between games where the Dordt Defenders defeat the Doane Tigers 80-64. It was a sluggish performance for the Defenders for much of the first half. They held a 37-34 lead at the half. Doane tied it at 37 but never took the lead. Dordt pushed the lead up to 10. After Doane lost Macy Holtz to what looked like a sprained ankle. She did return for a short period of time but did not play in the fourth quarter, and without Macy Holtz running the offense, things became more challenging for the Doane Tigers, and Dordt outscores Doane in the fourth quarter of play 20-16 and extend the 12-point lead up to the final of 80-64, and that is how it ended. Let's check in with our highlights from tonight's contest. And for the Dordt Defenders, they had the task of trying to slow down the Tigers in the second half. And Riley Rice, she scored 15 points, all in the second half, 9 of them on threes, actually at 14 points. Macy Sievers hit a couple of threes today. She ends up with 10 points for the Defenders. There you see another one for Rice, one of her 3 second half threes. But the story of this one, Macy Nielsen, a 3-pointer from the left corner. Macy Nielsen 19 points today, a career high 19, as she buries 5 3-pointers, and Faith Van Holland also hit a 3-point basket in the second half for the defenders, and Dordt wins it by a final of 80-64. 80-64 our score. Let's take a look at the official numbers in this one. The defenders, 29 of 53 from the floor, 55%. That included in the second half 15 of 28 shooting. Dordt was also 13 of 28 from the three-point line for 46%. Dordt converted 9 of 10 free throws and had a 28-25 rebounding edge. Turnovers, Dordt committed 17. Doane was forced into 21. 2 block shots for the defenders today to go with 10 steals. For the Tigers, they had 9 steals. Tigers were 22 of 52 from the floor, 9 of 29 in the second half, so they came back down to earth after shooting 56% in the first half. Doane converted 6 of 21 three-point shots, 29%, and 14 of 15 from the free throw line, 93%. Macy Nielsen had 19 points. Carly Gustafson had 11 for Dordt. Gustafson was 4 of 5 from the floor. Nielsen 7 of 12 tonight, 5 of 9 from the arc. Janie Schoenhoven 10 points on 4 of 6 shooting. 10 points for Macy Sievers on 3 of 5 shooting. McKenna Clucker with 8 points. Hayden Hymanson with 8 points. All of Hayden's coming in the second half as well. Bailey Backman had 5 points tonight, and Eliana Caparis had 2. For the Doane Tigers, Mac Hatcliffe had 22 points, 14 for Riley Rice, 12 for Macy Holtz, 8 for Trosh, 6 for Chambers, and 2 for Staples. 6 for rebounds for Rice to lead the Tigers, 5 for Hatcliffe, and 4 for Chambers. 2 assists each for Trosh and Staples. And Macy Holtz had 3 steals, 2 steals for Mac Hatcliffe. Macy Holtz also had 3 steals in the game. The Dordt defenders rebounding, they were led by Carly Gustafson with 7. Faith Van Holland tracked down 6. Macy Sievers had 4. Macy Sievers also with 8 assists today, while Janie Schoenhoven had a pair, as did Bailey Backman. Schoenhoven also had 3 rebounds. Gustafson with 3 steals, Faith Van Holland with 2, Macy Sievers with 2. So the Dordt defenders advance on in GPAC tournament play, and the defenders will play on Saturday afternoon here at the DeWitt. Remains to be seen what time. If it is a standalone game, that would be a 3 o'clock start time. If it's the front end of a doubleheader, which of course we hope for, it would be a 2 o'clock start time here at the DeWitt. So that remains to be seen after the dust settles this evening with GPAC play across the tournament landscape this evening. Let's take a 2-minute break, and we'll be back with a rundown of the scores from around the league right after this.
Welcome to the American State Bank Sports Complex. Let me show you around. So right now we're in the spacious head house of the complex. On my left here we have the concession stand, and then on my right here we have a seating area, whether that's for students, spectators, or fans to come and enjoy before and in between games. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Welcome to the Dome. In the Dome, we have the space available for 2 full-size softball fields. However, this space is also utilized by the football, baseball, and soccer teams, as well as for other various athletic events. So the Dome has impacted the softball team in a variety of ways. First, we used to practice during the winter months over in the rec center, but the limited space availability never really allowed us to hit our full potential, whereas in here, we can fit 2 full-size softball fields. We're also able to start games much earlier in the season. We have a range of equipment available here at the Dome, whether it's the batting cages, the soccer goals, or even a field goal available for the football team. It's a huge opportunity to have the space available to practice in the off-season, especially for our outdoor athletic teams. Another great thing about the American State Bank Sports Complex is that it's not just for Dordt athletes, it's for the entire community. whether that's high school soccer leagues, open turf time, or even a space for intramurals. The American State Bank Sports Complex will change not only how we practice as Dordt athletes, but also how we interact with the community as a whole. Thanks for letting me take you on a little tour. Hope you stop by soon.
At Premier Communications, we're all about connection. Connecting you to all the entertainment, work, and family you love with our phone, internet, cable TV, and tech support services. And now, that connection has gotten even faster with internet speeds up to 1 gig. Experience the next level of connection with Premier Communications. Visit us online at mypremieronline.com or call toll-free 800-741-8351. Premier Communications, looking ahead.
Welcome back to the DeWitt Gym, where the Dordt defenders victorious over the Doane Tigers, 80-64. Still waiting on the Dakota Wesleyan Northwestern game to go final. 65-56 currently the score there. And the Dakota Wesleyan Tigers leading that one by 9. Elsewhere, Concordia up by 5 on Jamestown with 2.5 minutes remaining. And Briarcliff, a leader on Morningside, 32-20 in women's play.
Concordia's up on Jamestown.
Concordia is up on Jamestown. You just heard Macy Nielsen updating Coach Bill Harmson on the scores around the league, and Macy Nielsen takes a seat beside me. And congratulations, Macy, first of all, on getting a tournament win here this evening. It's a different season, if you will, and took a little while to kind of shake. I don't know if it was the jitters or sluggishness or what it was, but just took a little bit. But team played pretty well in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you want to take away from Doane tonight? What were the points of concern facing this Doane Tiger team?
Definitely the downhill drive. Their guards are really good at putting their head down, spinning and stepping through in the paint. So we made a big point of squeezing in the paint, and then also their freshman post does a really good job back to the basket. So we went with a few doubles and tried to get the ball out of her hands.
What did Coach Harmson say in the locker room? How did you guys do, or didn't he talk much about the game?
He was just pretty excited. We're ready to get going and attack Saturday.
Okay. You found your shot in Jamestown and you took it home with you.
I sure did.
You've had some challenges this year finding that shot, and everyone says shooters shoot, but that's easier said than done some days, isn't it?
Yes. Yep.
What's it feel like now that the ball's going in again for you? What's that feel like?
It's definitely a confidence booster, but I've got teammates that are behind my back, and they've been encouraging me for the past couple of weeks. Like, just keep shooting, Mace, do what you do. And I, on Saturday, had the opportunity to step up with a few girls out, and that was just really fun. And to come here tonight and do that again, it's been great.
Does it matter to you who you play next round?
No, sir.
Dakota Wesleyan Northwestern. It looks like it's going to be Dakota Wesleyan, and we've had some good battles with them this year, but fun time of the year, I would imagine. In some ways, is it good to just be done with the regular season and now to try to progress into postseason play?
Yeah, I mean, this might sound cliche, but it is the best time of the year. You know, we get extra pumped for tournament time, and March is coming around the corner, so this is what it's all about.
I'll let you go celebrate with your teammates.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike.
That's Macy Nielsen talking about tonight's contest, and she will hand it off to Bill Harmson, who we will talk with as the Dordt defenders. Tournament play is different. I mean, no matter what the pairings are, you always want a fast start, obviously, and you want a big lead in the first quarter, but they don't always work out that way, Coach, and you got to work through it.
Yeah, and we had to work through it tonight, Mike, and I think we turned the ball over 4 of our first 5 possessions, and Carly had to, it's weird. Carly and Bailey didn't play in our last game, but they seemed a little rusty tonight, and just getting back into the flow and the speed of the game again, and so to start the game like that, and you give a team a hope, right? You give the team confidence that you're playing. And Doane, I thought tonight just played excellent. I just thought they played a really good game, and they defended us well. And I thought they got to the free throw line a little too much again tonight, but I just thought they played a great game.
You were able to get some three-point shooting, and the team, I mean, it's no secret the way it looks. The teams are going to gamble and say, okay, beat us from the arc, and we're going to pack it in, and tonight your team beat them from the arc.
Yeah, they kind of did it on us the last time they were here a couple weeks ago, and we were able to hit 17 of them. You know, tonight we hit 13 of them, and I'm just really proud of our bench. We struggled a little bit with that first group, and then, you know, to get 39 points off the bench from those 4 women, I mean, that is just outstanding, and that makes us tougher to guard, and it just continues to build confidence. So, you know, Macy had a stretch after Christmas where she just really struggled with her shot, and her body was sore and just didn't have a lot of juice and snap. And so for her to come out tonight in the first round of the GPAC and to have the night she did, shooting the ball and defending very well, I couldn't be happier for her.
Yeah, and the thing that I see, and so many people don't get to see this, is even when she was having those challenges, trying to take care of her body and get a little bit of that snap back, but she was in the gym still getting shots up, still working on it. And I've heard players describe it as, for whatever reason, they just lost it, lost the feel for it. And anybody who's been around a son or a player, coach, whatever, there are days where everything can feel right, look right, but it doesn't go in, and you got to work through that.
You got to work through it, and it's a confidence thing, and so I'm really happy, you know, for Kleck to come out, and I think Kleck had 1 or 2 again tonight. Macy Sievers went 2 for 2 tonight, and Macy Nielsen went 5 for 9. So off the bench, man, those kids really shot the ball well. But more importantly, I thought they gave us a defensive spark too. So that's a good sign for us. You know, hopefully we can keep this going as time continues. But I just couldn't, you know, Macy comes up, and I was just really excited for her, and she just had a great game.
You will get Dakota Wesleyan. They're up by 9 on Northwestern with about 10 seconds remaining, so they're going to win at the Corn Palace. You've had some great battles with them this year, and Saturday figures to be no different.
It will be a tough one, and it's really fun to coach against that team. It's really fun to play against them. You know, we're going to have to play our best game of the season on Saturday, and yeah, it'll be just a fantastic challenge. We'll be rested up by then. You know, having another day's rest here will really help our women. But man, we're really looking forward to that opportunity, and we hope our defenders, our Defender Nation, will show up and support our women.
Coach, I will let you go. Thanks for coming up.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
That's Coach Bill Harmson talking about today's game. The Dordt Defenders victorious 80-64. I think I've given you all the numbers I can. Dakota Wesleyan does indeed defeat Northwestern 69-62 this evening. And over in Jamestown, it's looking like Concordia might sneak out with a win. 69-65, they lead it. They might not be sneaking out of Jamestown, though, tonight. They might be holed up there for a day or two, the way the news is telling me that interstates are beginning to close in South Dakota. But as it is, the Concordia Bulldogs with a 5-point lead with 19 seconds to go, leading Jamestown in that one. Morningside and Briarcliff, they started at 7, so they're just at halftime. So that's going to do it for the broadcast of our women's game. Let's take a break. We'll back out. We'll get things situated for the men's contest, and we'll be back on the Dordt Media Network in a couple minutes.